Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another show of the SharpSHOOTers. As always, we're your hosts, Danny and Juice. How you doing tonight, Juice? Tell the truth.
Hello, good evening, and good night, everybody. It's been fun. Thank you all for
Already?
tuning in.
Oh no, I need you for at least 5 more minutes.
I'll see y'all on Monday. Um,
Shh, they don't even know that yet.
well, spoiler alert. Yeah, I'm just jumping right into it. So next
Go
week we're
ahead.
gonna be live on Monday night at 8 p.m. Because Dynamite is live next Tuesday at 8 p.m. And I know myself and a larger majority of our audience would rather tune into Dynamite live than Raw live. So we will be live on Monday at 8 p.m. Compared to our usual Tuesday at 8 p.m. time. So be mindful of that, mind the gap, all that good stuff as you will. Um, and thank you for tuning in. Hold on, guys. Charlotte's ears. Okay, timeout. We'll get to Charlotte's ears in a little
Whoa,
bit.
whoa, that's rude.
Um, I'm sure she heard the notification that we were live
I don't want
anyway.
I don't want to be the body
Um,
shaming podcast.
I mean, we can be. Um, so
I don't
yeah,
want to be.
so thank you all for tuning in here tonight on this lovely Thursday evening. It's been feeling like Friday the last 2 days for me, so I am definitely ready for this weekend. Um, and while you're here, please do sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below. Follow us, all that support. Hit us up on our Facebook, on our Tiki Taki, all that good stuff. It's still legal. It's still available, luckily for all of you. And yeah, if you have Amazon Prime, as always, you do get one free sub every month using Amazon Prime Gaming. It costs you nothing, and it helps support us just the same. All the instructions on how to do so are there in the chat below. Uh, Listen, we really appreciate if you take a few minutes. Doesn't have to be live on stream, even if it's offline. Just take a few minutes and hand out that free sub. It's free money for us, and it supports us and helps us get better. Um,
Our goal
yeah,
is
so
10 as we just put up there. We're at 4 right now. We'd love 10. So if we get 10, that'd be great, guys. Help us. We've been freezing a lot with our little computer, so we need to update some stuff. That'd be
it'd
nice.
be super super duper. Um, yeah, and no fantasy updates here on Thursdays. We will save that for the Tuesday shows. But Raw is scored.
Well,
SmackDown will
Monday
be
next
scored
week.
tomorrow. Well, yeah, and so yeah, next week will be the updates, and yeah, that's all I really got. So let's dive in.
And also, just for the record, next week will be a anomaly of an update because usually the Tuesday shows will include SmackDown and Raw. But since we're going on Raw, we're not going to be able to include the Raw show on Monday, obviously.
Well, no, it'll be the same because next Monday's Raw counts as week 2, and next week will only be week 1 being scored. So like it'll never be,
Oh, gotcha,
will
gotcha,
never,
gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
the leaderboard will never be like the current week's shows, if that
Gotcha,
makes
gotcha.
sense.
Yeah. My bad,
Yeah.
then. I was
Yeah,
wrong.
no, it's all good. So yeah, so that doesn't make it that it's still being scored, but it won't be on the leaderboard.
Yeah,
All you'll see, you'll get your points in real time
from
from
week
me,
one.
but all you'll get is the previous week's results.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha, gotcha.
let's get
Sweet.
started.
All right. And we're up. All right. So, as always, if you never been here before and this is your first time viewing us, thank you so much. This is our last point standing night where we just talk about business. AEW is usually led by Juice, and I will lead the WWE portion. So, Juice, whenever you want to get started.
Yeah, and by all means, if you guys have anything you really want to talk about, and we have some time, throw it in chat. We'll definitely segue to it if it's not on our list. But I think we try to usually cover the essential stuff. Um,
Agreed.
Yeah. So first thing I want to talk about is just from Collision and Dynamite last night. I want to bring up the Mercedes Moné puppet, um,
Loved it.
via Harley Cameron the last few weeks, her ventriloquist act. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
She's so
I
good.
think
She's
it's
so funny,
I
man.
I think it's great stuff. I mean, at this point, I feel like they have to do the match next week with Mercedes and Harley. At the very least, they're probably going to do a segment in the in the ring for the Australian
Mm-hmm.
crowd. But
I,
yeah,
I think she's going to get the match.
because I think we're at 4 matches, so they have room for one more. Because again, for anyone that doesn't know, this is essentially going to be like a collision on really late.
Yeah.
It's not a pay per view. It's not a 4 hour thing. It's on TV after the All Star events that night. So it's probably not starting until like midnight or something like that.
Which sucks because the NBA All
Um,
Star events have sucked, and I'm an NBA fan, but they've sucked the past few years. So, like, unless they magically have a really good dunk contest, I'm going to be annoyed.
no, no. I mean, listen, I don't watch it at all myself, but It's unfortunate. And honestly, it seems like a very bad series of events where this was gonna be a pay-per-view, then it was gonna be a Max exclusive. I think to show off the streaming like for the first time for a pay-per-view or pay-per-view. So it wasn't gonna be on TV. Then they put it on TV. Then the All-Star game got it moved. So I think it's just been a string of bad luck, and the show will be great. It looks all great on paper
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
far. But yeah, back to the Monet puppet. I hope they. I doubt they're gonna sell it or like make merchandise or make money off of this.
That'd
It'd
be
be
cool if
great.
they did.
I don't think they're gonna maybe a shirt at the most, but they're not gonna make the puppet or make $1 or
That
whatever.
would
They
be
should.
hilarious if they
Um,
did. I would love
I
that.
did see video of Mercedes' dog like attacking it, like biting and eating it backstage afterwards. Um, so I hope that they play that off and like give the puppet like an eye patch and like a new outfit and like all ragged
That
hair,
would be
like
so good.
struggling and stuff. But yeah, I'm really digging that feud. I'm really digging that story, and it's kind of what you said. It's not like a serious thing, but at least it's something that Mercedes is kind of sinking her teeth into
Hmm.
week to week with the same. So it's an improvement. It's something there, and you can tell Mercedes is like laughing and like uncomfortable with it, like
But
kind of enjoying
that's
it,
what
but
I was
still
gonna
annoyed
say.
by
It's
it.
it's also
Like,
a different side of Mercedes, and that's all I've been asking for. Is like show me a little more personality. I get the CEO thing, that's great, but like she's like getting to like be a little more angry or be a little more herself with it, and
mhm.
I've actually been enjoying it a lot. Jay DeFalco says the fact that Mercedes has their own creative team and they're running with this is great. I agree. I think it's really working, and I hope they continue with it. And Harley's just also a great counterpart for her.
Yeah, and I still think they should put the strap on her. I'm still on
I
that train.
agree.
Do it,
I really
do it.
agree. I hope they do.
But we'll see. I doubt it, but get me wrong, TK. Next up, we have Adam Copeland, aka Cope, taking on John Moxley potentially at Revolution, while Mox continues to deny him the defense or the match. It wrestling brain pretty much tells you it's gonna happen at Revolution at this point. Um, so we'll see. We'll see how things progress, but I'm looking forward to it. I know a lot of people would say give it to Cope at this point. I would say no, but
Yeah, I don't think
I
so.
wouldn't hate it if they did it. But my gut says this isn't the end of the Mox Death Riders
No,
championship thing.
I don't think
Um,
so. And it just last night was funny to me how he just outright was like, "No, you don't get a shot at me," blah blah. And then the second Switchblade was like, "How about a tag team match?" They're like, "All right, I'll wrestle maybe that." Like it's like God, just keep avoiding him. Like try to keep
well,
avoiding the at least the cope part of it, and that might be a little more entertaining. And also, I don't know if it was just me wishful thinking and like imagining it on screen, but Cope did Cope seem annoyed by getting volunteered for that tag team match? Did he seem like maybe like he wasn't into that?
yeah, maybe, and that's probably part of the point.
Which I
And
like. Which I like.
Hope and Jay White. And also, I didn't really take it as Mox and Claudio, and then being like, oh, okay, we'll do that. Like they never agreed to it. It match kind of got bestowed upon them by Tony Khan later on in the night. Like it wasn't like immediately like, oh, it's on, it's happening. Like you know, but whatever. Either way, I don't mind the program, the storyline right now with Cope and Mox. Again, I don't think it's the end game, but
Yeah, I don't
um,
think so either.
yeah.
All right.
All right. Moving on now to Collision. Wanted to talk about some returns. Bandito, Part Two, the non-concussion edition, where he came back and luckily did not hurt himself, did not do any bumps where he landed on his head. Kept it
Part two.
very smooth and very smart. But yeah, he's back, and they're gonna roll on with this. This current feud that he's got going on. But yeah, and hopefully it leads to something more. 'Cause I don't really know where you can go from here unless he's winning the title off of that person we're not talking about. But yeah, I'm happy to see Bandito back. And also Hologram is in bounds. He is en route, so to speak. He's coming. They had a little promo of him back,
Yeah, I
walking
saw it.
around the
That's gonna
town,
be interesting.
getting a little like portal coming out of his hands. I liked it. I mean, listen, wrestling's supposed to be a little silly. There's only a certain amount you can really do at this point. But what's the
Listen,
harm? There's no harm.
one of our
He's,
favorite wrestlers of
he's
all
loading
time
in.
was The Undertaker. So like if you're a good character, wrestling fans are going to attach to that and have fun with it. And he's been a fun character so far. So
He's a hologram. He's not real. So I mean,
well,
good
that's why
for
I said
him.
character.
Yeah. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to Bandito and Hologram coming back and hopefully getting themselves into like something soon. Because obviously Hologram was doing a lot of like exhibition stuff, which was fair. He was getting himself established. He was getting over with the crowd. But
Yeah, but now I
yeah.
think it's right time for a feud. Now, question for you, and I could be wrong. Has Hologram spoken? No, right?
Uh, I don't think so.
Do
I
you
don't. I don't.
have
I
him
don't
speak?
probably. Yeah. I don't see the harm. I mean, I don't know what his promo skills are. That's the thing. If I knew what his ability was,
Of
I have a
course.
better
But
answer.
I'm just
But
saying, as like the character of a hologram, do you have him speak or like NPC character? Do you have someone speak for him?
eh. Yeah, I guess for now you'd keep him not talking, but
Just curious. I
I don't
know
know.
we're trying to advance the character, so I'm curious, like kind of what route you go, because obviously the story, being able to speak is the next part of that. So, just
Yeah.
curious where you were thinking there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's I wouldn't mind it. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go on a rant about that. But
What? That's what this is for. All right, fine.
no, it's okay. I
I'm
want
gonna
to play
I'm gonna be
nice.
ranting at some point tonight, so just be
That's
ready
fine.
for it.
Well, I want to play nice. This is the good part of the show.
I don't think so,
Um,
because once we get to certain parts of last night, I'm gonna be maybe
all
ranty.
right, fair enough. Next up, TNT title. I love the
TNT
three.
title.
I love the three-way
It
on
was
Collision
so good.
with Lee, Garcia, and Kyle.
But you knew he
I
was gonna
thought
be
it
good with
was
that three.
well, yeah, but
No
like that's the
shot.
thing. Just like their back and forths, their reversals, the ring work, everything, just great. Home run of a match. I loved it. And then even post match, then you had the Undisputed Kingdom, you had Shane Taylor Promotions, you had
Mm-hmm.
2.0 all going at it. And the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, man, you know what this would be? This would be a great feud for the trios titles.
Crazy,
Oh,
right?
wait a minute.
Do
Oh
we
well,
do we have trios titles?
we do. They're hidden away in the ether.
Oh my
They're
god.
they're they're
You
in the
know,
endless briefcase that Marina Shafir
sorry,
holds.
I do know we have trios titles. 'Cause I do see them in the like match card promos. I never see them in real life, but I do see them on on a screen sometimes.
Uh,
So that must mean they're champions.
yeah, just a bummer. I mean, again, it's a great fun feud and story, but it's like this is the perfect spot for that. Like,
No,
let's
I,
go.
I
What are we
agree,
doing?
especially with 2.0 coming back.
Um,
It's so good to see them also. Like I'm glad that
yep.
like they're able to like they don't look like they really missed the beat too much. They're not going to be as you know quick as the other guys but they never
Yeah, yeah,
were. So I'm fine with that. They're
yeah,
more a character tag team anyway, so I like it.
yeah. So again, good story, good feud going on right now with the nine of them. Just wish that trios belts were freed and able to do more. So before we dive into these next 4 points, I just want to go on a little mini rant that I've kind of been saying on here the last few weeks. I can't stand the way that Dynamite has been presented the last like month or so. I think the format, the pacing, the structure, it's all wrong. I don't know who's been put in charge of it. I don't know if it's because Rampage is gone and they're filling in these voids of what was on Rampage, but it's been so imbalanced compared to Collision over the last month, in my opinion, in terms of like where you when you put matches versus segments, what order you put the segments with the matches, how you pace everything out. Because like it's not like the storylines aren't hitting for me. It's not like the wrestlers aren't hitting for me, except for like certain people, like obviously Lashley and Jared. But I digress. Um, it's the fact that like and I've
Jared
always been a
wasn't on the
stickler.
show.
Well, over the last month, I'm saying.
I'm joking.
Um, while I'm being a stickler about it, I've always been a stickler about it. It's like there was only one match in the whole first hour of Dynamite last night,
Yeah, that was
and
weird. I didn't like that, and that's
like
so unlike them.
that's not the first time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like it's been weak like that for the last month or so, and I really do think it's because Rampage being gone has thrown off how certain things have been needed during the week, with like a lot more like recap segments, a lot more like backstage character work, which is good, but Like only 4 matches on Dynamite last night, which is why it stuck out a lot to me. Usually
Yeah.
they do at least 5.
No, I
So
agree with that. I was like it was kind
it's
of WWE-ish, which was very confusing to me. I don't
yeah,
like it, and
and
it's been
that's
like that for a while.
yeah,
You've been saying that for a while.
yeah. And I kind of just checked out. I mean, I watched the whole show. Did I hate the show? I didn't hate it, but I was very close to really not liking it.
I was
Like
gonna
it's
say
just
I
like
didn't like it. I mean, I didn't like parts of it.
yeah, it's just it's funny. I mean, obviously everyone likes different things, but you see so many people online like this is the best Dynamite in a while. This is very good, and I'm like watching the same show. Like this ain't what it like should be. But I digress. That's my rant about Dynamite as a whole. I hope they can fix it, but like it's very obvious when Collision is so wrestling heavy and focused, and then Dynamite you get like whatever this is, and
Yeah,
I don't like it. Okay, thank you for letting me get that off my chest.
no problem.
Um, moving
And go
on
ahead.
to Mark Davis returning or showing up. I know he hasn't really been away. He's been back, but not on TV. Um, they tried to make it clear and still had a little confusion, which is probably by design. But I feel like both announcers didn't know the situation that was going on with Mark Davis because like they made it seem like he's clearly under duress and like stuck in this situation now of being under the Don Callis family and the thumb of him, and he's doing this not under it's not his choice. He doesn't want to be doing this. But then Taz was kind of like going at Davis like he was doing this by
But
design. So like I think there's a little I think that was just miscommunication on what the story was at this point.
so that would be fine if it was just the commentators, but Davis was acting like like he wasn't acting conflicted, which was my problem with it. Like if you're gonna be under duress, or if you're seeming like you don't want to be there, like you're gonna do
Mhm.
certain moves and be like and pause a little bit. You're not gonna showboat. You're not gonna like cover him like with just a knee and like showboat while you're covering him, because those are just purely heel tactics. So that's why I got a little confused with it, because like that's why I didn't like it, to be honest with you, because like the whole match I'm watching, I'm like, this isn't like this isn't how you act if you're under duress. And they even said, like, I believe Callis said that like he didn't even sign. Fletcher signed for him
Yeah.
because he gave him power or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool, that makes sense. I'm okay with that. But then act
Mhm.
like you don't want to be in this match. Act like you're hesitant to
I'm
do certain things.
I mean, he didn't like do the full on stop before a move, but like when he came out at certain points in the match, he was doing like the huffing and puffing, like the deep, like kind of like
But I feel like that was more a reaction to Callus than hesitation against
Well,
Osprey.
I
I
think
don't know.
I think he still knows he wants to be competitive. I mean, I'm being very nuanced with it and thinking, who knows? My whole thing is, it feels. I don't mind the move. I don't mind it. I mean, listen, Mark
I don't
Davis
mind
was
the
gonna
move
kind of.
either.
He was probably gonna flounder and sit there and like, who knows what he would have done as just a baby face. My whole thing though now is okay. You can't just put Davis and Fletcher back together. Fletcher's in this like stratosphere now of the push. So, like Davis is there, cool, but he's gonna have to be a singles guy, or I don't know. So we'll see.
I
I don't mind
also
it.
I
It was
also
a little
kind of
weird,
think they
but
should have done this earlier, like when he, because putting it together now, he said that they signed when Davis was hurt, but Davis had already come back and was like kind of going to
mhm,
get like
yeah, I
make
get
that earlier also, because that's continuity with it. But like
yeah,
again, I don't mind the move. I just feel like it was kind
yeah.
of messed up.
I get what you're saying. It's definitely like a semi pivot to get him something to do.
Yeah,
So yeah, not great, but I don't mind it. Honestly, it's fine. Now, one that I did mind was our next topic,
bro.
uh, the return of the Guns to challenge the Hurt Syndicate for the AEW Tag Team titles.
I have two problems with
Now,
this segment.
we're probably going to be on the same page here. My biggest problem was mere minutes before this, Jay White is getting attacked or in a numbers beatdown with the Death Riders.
Thank you.
And yeah, rated FTR comes out and helps him, and yay, even numbers are even, and all this stuff. But it's like there's this whole beatdown and attack happening. He's clearly in this story for like months now, and they don't come out to help him. They don't come out to get involved. You bring them out like a half an hour later to like by themselves to go after the tag titles. It was
Does
just such a
does that mean though
disconnect.
that Bullet Club, or I'm sorry, Gun Club is over? Like,
No, because like they literally came out and did the whole guns up for a Bullet Club Gold member, like you said it. So clearly it's not
Ugh,
over.
that's
If they
so
came out and
annoying.
said
Yeah, I
that,
forgot. I forgot that they said specifically Bullet Club Gold.
yeah, so they're clearly still in it.
That's annoying. Yeah, so that upset me also. I thought the same exact thing. I'm like, oh, so they're broken up.
Yeah.
Like this kind of sucks now. Like,
Nope. Nope. They are definitely still together as far as everything they showed last night was.
yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and it feels like a mismatch because I think this is just a way to once again give new tag team champions a tag team title defense for the first time against a former tag team champions. So I just think it's a bad first opponent for the Guns, but whatever. It's a hierarchy thing now, I guess, with the new champs in town. Um, yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, I like the Guns. I'm okay with them. I think this was a bad, dumb move. I didn't like
No,
it at all.
I think that's my second problem is that they just came back, like at least win a match, like do something to get the title shot. I get that you're doing the whole respect angle on former champions and stuff, but like I don't know, just have them let them do a squash
You,
match and then
you
challenge
know
for the
what
belt. Like
though?
I don't care, just something.
I was thinking that, but honestly, I don't mind it here because MVP literally said
It's just
doors
your
open.
dad, yeah.
No, MVP literally said who wants a challenge, who wants a
Oh,
title
that
shot.
you know what?
So
That's fair. That's fair. You're right. You're right.
yeah, MVP did leave the door open to say, hey, anybody that wants it, come and get it. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like a whole like, oh no, you got to earn it kind of deal. They didn't. That's why I
You're
don't
right.
care.
You're right.
There.
You're right. You're right.
I know I'm right. I can't remember the last time I was wrong. Yeah. And so yeah, at this point I'm in dire straits. Not a great episode of Dynamite for me at least. Juicebox isn't really having fun squeezing the box. But then everything was saved.
Well,
Man, Tony Storm
okay.
just pulled me back in. God
Tony
bless her.
Storm was, I mean, for a
Hmm.
second, I really thought that Mariah May just went to the back and came out again. That was,
What?
wow. I was
Were
just
you
like,
high?
wait a second. She looks fantastic. How did this happen? No, that was
Yeah.
hilarious. I was like, great job, great costume, the way
Um,
you're look. I mean, I loved every second of it. It was so good.
it was great. I just had to give her more love and more props. And I know next week we're not doing like official predictions, and I'll say it again next week. But honestly, at this point, I would have Mariah retain. I know everybody probably wants Tony to get it back. I wouldn't do it.
Oh no,
Uh,
no, let Tony keep chasing. Did
I
and
don't even
then
know about
my
chasing.
favorite
I would
part
just
is well not chasing. I mean like get her away from it. Eventually let her come back for the belt. Like not right away, but let Mariah keep it for a while. She needs some good title defenses. You need a good run with her. And honestly, you need someone else to kind of get the belt if you're gonna give it. If you're gonna take it off her,
well,
give it to give it to like your Mercedes. Let her drop it to someone else. That's gonna be like the next big one, in my opinion.
and to be fair, I mean she's had it for 6 months already, so she's had a good reign. So I mean I wouldn't be shocked if she lost it at this point, but I don't know. I feel like after all this time, if you want to really like continue to establish Mariah, she needs to win in the first match. This is the rematch from the
Yeah.
wins. You know what I mean? Um, but we'll see. We'll get to that more next week, I guess, when we dissect Grand Slam in advance. Um, yeah, just I loved it. Save the show for me. Um, and then after that, going into our main event, which I thought was amazing.
Yes.
My only critique is I know it was a TV match, but I wish it got more time. I mean,
Yeah.
this I know that the reason I think the structure has also changed is obviously now the overrun has become like the norm for them, which is almost like to their detriment. Where like Tony's like, oh, I got another 15 minutes to play with. I can do more
You
talking
know what's
earlier.
weird? WCW used to do the same thing with the overrun. They were like they used to do it a lot, and then they would like have to get cut off because they would do even more of the overrun. And
Mhm.
I don't know if that's just like a Turner thing or a TBS thing or whatever, but like it's it doesn't surprise me is where I'm coming was where I'm getting at.
Yeah, and listen, I've always been a proponent for more is
I
good in
love
my
it. Yeah.
opinion in terms of like timed and content. But you know, when you do an overrun every week, it kind of like
It's
okay, like you're
expected.
gonna do
It's
an
not an
overrun,
overrun anymore.
like
Yeah.
yeah. But the main event, I loved it. I thought it was good. I wish it was longer. It was just a shame to see it starting at like 9:55, and I was like, okay, this is weird. But yeah, I thought it was a good TV match. I loved the ending with Ricochet throwing up the hands to like block the curb stomp, but like at
Mhm.
the same time giving him a low blow on accident.
Mhm.
Seemed like it was on accident, even though like on purpose. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't planning on a low blow. Um,
He didn't mind you.
and yeah, of course. But yeah, I'm glad Ricochet won. I think it was
Yep.
definitely right for Ricochet to get the win.
Yeah. You're
Um,
continuing this feud for a while, so they got to
mhm.
trade it. You got to give Ricochet a win, just give him a little more credibility with it, and then eventually the blow off will be Swerve, hopefully winning the feud. Or maybe not. Maybe Ricochet really walks away with the win with this feud, which would be pretty cool for him. That would be great for him.
Yeah. I will give a little like note here of like reservation.
Oh.
A post match stuff. I don't mind Ricochet taking the robe. Um, the only thing, obviously, I know you've heard it before on the show. I've shared it with you. Just what the robe means in terms of like, yeah, they mentioned the embassy, but like with Jimmy Rave
Mm-hmm.
being the one that wore it, and like how he kind of had to retire, and all the stuff that's happened to him, and how he passed away, and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just I want them to be careful. I know usually wrestling's wrestling, and like, oh, he would have loved that, but like if they pull something where he like cuts up the robe or sets it on fire or rips it, like I'm personally not going to be cool with that. Um,
Well, I
that's
don't
just
think it'll
me.
be the actual robe, right? It would have to be a replica. I don't think they would like fuck up with the
Yeah,
actual one. That'd be fucked.
yeah, but again, I mean, it's never going to be on TV. I don't know. I just like I know that. I know what you're saying with that, but just like I know usually I don't care for that stuff, but like maybe just because I was like closer with the Jimmy Ray stuff and the Ring of Honor stuff, it really bugged me if they did it. But yeah,
That'd
I
be
just wanted to
interesting.
share that in case they go there.
All right,
But
don't
yeah,
fucking go there, AEW. All
Hey,
right,
if he just
don't
if he just
do
starts
it.
wearing it, if he just starts wearing it and that's it, that's fine. Even if he does like stepping on it, I'm really talking like complete destruction. Like they just destroy it and it's
I'm
gone
just
off
saying,
TV.
don't squeeze the juice box. That's all I'm worrying AEW.
Yeah, just I think they know better. I think they have enough respect for Jimmy Rave and what it means to not go there. But
All
yeah,
right.
that's my last point on AEW. Not a great week, unfortunately.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, he has the scissors already. I know that's the problem. That's why Juice is saying this is because of the scissors. There's a very good chance that that's like A plus B equals C, and we don't want C. That's the problem.
Yeah, I
Um,
just the robe means something, obviously, and that's why they're probably going to do it.
for sure.
I just I'm not going to be a fan of it. Not going to like it.
You know what Juice will be a fan of though? If while we take this ad break, you guys please
Woo!
give us a sub. He's had a
Woo!
rough week with AEW, so give him some love. Give us a sub. We'll be right
Help,
back. Please don't go anywhere. Thank you very much.
baby, please.
Baby,
Please.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sticking with us. Hope you enjoyed the soothing sounds of Accept the Wind. Thank you, Accept the Wind, for your music. It's been fantastic. Now we enter Juice's nightmare part of the segment, WWE. Even though this man has made a fantasy game so he can watch more WWE, he is still complaining about it. And I'm here tonight to try to make it okay for Juice. Whether my feelings of this past weekend I might put aside just to make Juice understand how some of the decisions weren't as bad as we might have thought. So, first off, SmackDown, in my opinion, was just a big goose egg of nothing. There was really nothing on SmackDown I want to talk about or that really helped. It was a bad go-home show, in my opinion. So I skipped everything from SmackDown. If anyone in the chat wants to talk about anything from SmackDown, please put it in the chat. I highly doubt it. So let's just start off right with the Rumble. Tag team title match. How did we feel about the tag team title match? Because I think me and you had different feelings about this.
I thought it was a dud.
Why?
Listen, I love DIY. I love Motor City Machine Guns. My expectations were sky high for this match. I mean, you had 4 matches on this show. You finally put the tag titles on the pay-per-view in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Like, I was expecting 20 minutes, like legit, like a classic where they can go out there and tear the house down. Be like, God damn, tag team wrestling is back. Keep it on the pay-per-views. They wrestled to crickets. I know you're following a women's rumble, but like, that was terrible, man. The crowd did not care at all. They wrestled to no reaction.
I think that was part of the problem, though, was the crowd, not them.
Yeah.
Like,
well, no, it was. Because listen, they could have gotten them into it. Like, when 4 minutes in, you're already getting the first pinfall.
That was the problem for me. I was watching with 2 of my friends, and like literally we were watching. I noticed it. They didn't. So like, I thought they had. When the second pinfall happened, like, oh, sweet, like, that's the first one this deep into the match. I was like, nah, man, we're tied. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, it happened like 5 minutes into the match, but like, they just didn't notice it because it wasn't even like a big move or anything. It seemed like just a run of the, which they've done before, and I don't mind it, but they haven't done it so quick into the match. I didn't mind it as much because, like, I thought the rest of the match kind of built up a little bit. Like, it seemed like since they knew they had a short amount of time, they were trying to give, like, more time to the last fall, I guess. My only problem, my personal only problem with it was just how it ended. Like, I didn't expect that interference, and it kind of annoyed me that they were the team that interfered with it.
I mean, I didn't mind because it meant that we got the prediction right, but yeah, honestly, just again, and I love all the teams. And was it a terrible match? No, but I think I consider it a dud because it let me down immensely, and the crowd gave 0 fucks. So
that's fair. Again, I was like, I try not to include the crowd when I like watch these matches, and I was still into like a lot of the moves. I still think they did. I don't think it was gonna be like their best match anyway because they were surrounded by, it was the Rumble. They were surrounded by that.
But you know what,
match.
man? Like, listen, for like a Monday Night Raw, fine. I can like understand what you're saying. This is 65,000 people at the Royal Rumble.
Fair.
And you're getting nothing.
Also, keep in mind, this is, I agree with you, and I'm not playing devil's advocate here. Just keep in mind, we have also been saying for the past like 4 months that they haven't even had a match on a pay-per-view. So now they've at least gotten like 10 to 15 minutes, whatever. But like, still wish they had more time because they could have definitely done so much more.
And they'll never get time again.
Never again. All right, moving on to the ladder match. This one, if you didn't like, I don't know why. This was one of the craziest matches. Some of these spots like made me jump out of my chair. That ending with the Alabama Slam was beautiful. I still don't know if Kevin actually hurt himself. Kevin looked like he was dead. It was a crazy match. How'd you feel?
Yeah, that was easily match of the night.
Yes.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I mean, clearly these guys know what they're doing. They're among the best, especially Owens. I think Owens is so damn good.
Mm-hmm.
I wish he won. I knew he wasn't going to. But yeah, that final spot, it definitely popped me too. I did not expect it, and awesome.
Sammy's reaction was really good too.
Yeah. I like the stuff with the mini ladder. I like the stuff with the ladder
Yeah,
rung that they kicked off, like they hit off of
that
it.
was dope.
Um,
Question for
yeah,
you. I have a question. Did the mini rung count as a separate weapon than the ladder in the fantasy game?
I like when he used it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it counted.
Oh well, it
Yeah,
counts as it doesn't matter if it is right. It counts as many times as they use it anyway.
yeah, yes. I mean, it counted the same. It wasn't like a half point or a double
Gotcha.
point.
No,
It was
that
just
was just so funny to me that they got that, and that's immediately I was like, oh, I wonder what this counts in the fantasy game.
yeah. No, that counts. That counts. Like even when he did to like put it over his mouth like that, his head, like
Mm-hmm.
that counts. That counts
Nice.
too.
No, that was dope.
But yeah,
Um,
no, the match. I like the match. Yeah, obviously we talked about how it was silly that they were putting the titles up again. But as I was told by somebody I was with watching the show, our viewer Harley, hello Harley, if you're here in the chat, she told me that on SmackDown they did a whole thing where Kevin came out and or Kevin was running around saying, "I want my belt back. I
yeah,
want my
yeah.
belt back."
I watched SmackDown after we were talking that night. And I watched SmackDown Sunday, and he's just like he
Yeah.
pretty much just like grabbed his belt back, and I was like, this is so dumb. I hate it. Like, just leave the
Well,
belt
that's
up
why
there.
that's
But
why I said don't even do it on Saturday Night's main event. You should have
yeah,
just done that segment on SmackDown before.
literally
But whatever.
just to get a segment for Shawn Michaels to super kick you in San Antonio. That's great.
Yeah,
Good job,
whatever.
WWE. Jesus
Well,
Christ. All right, now we're gonna talk about some bad.
whew.
The Women's Royal Rumble, and we might go a little over because we're also gonna include the Raw segment after this. But so I'm gonna tell you my take first because I kind of told you my
Please.
take and I know you didn't agree, but I think the Women's Royal Rumble was very slow to start. I think the first like 12 to 14, I don't remember the exact number I said when I think it turned around, but I think like the first 12 to 14 was just very just low level. The women didn't know what to do in the background. Like we were calling it during the match, like, oh, she's just laying there. Get up and just pretend to punch her in the corner. Like, why are you both laying in separate corners? Just make something to do with each other. Like people are literally watching you in the first row. Like give them a little bit of a show. Just pretend you're doing something. Um, then it's, in my opinion, it started picking up after that. Then we started getting some like bigger names. We started getting Alexa Bliss, Charlotte. So I thought it started getting like a little bit better. Some of the wrestling got a little better. Nia Jax, whether you like her or not, she came in and did her job, cleaning out the house, trying to get her out, trying to get her eliminated. It was a very bad spot. I know what you're going to talk about, but but all that said, then it started going down, and I think it started with that bad spot. But then it started going downhill again towards the end. And to me, Nikki Bella just killed it for me. I did not like that as a number 30 entrance. And I thought that was like the nail in the coffin. I was like, you had a chance to go good, and then you just made sure you killed it. I don't know if you felt the same way or if you just like hated it the entire way through. What are your thoughts?
So yeah, before I dive in, Harley clarified the commentator went to interview him, and Kevin
Yes.
Owens just said, "I only came out here to get my belt," and grabbed it and walked away. Then Jay brings up regarding the women's rumble, nobody was eliminated for like 10 minutes,
Oh,
which is also true.
which is brings me to one more point really quick. I was talking with my buddy and we were like, I wonder what the record for like the most people in one Royal Rumble is. And we did a quick look up and I think we found a pretty accurate like about 15. And then this one hit 16 and we're like, oh Jesus Christ, like this is just getting ridiculous.
Oh boy. Yeah, listen, I forget if I said it here on the show or just throughout the week to anybody I was talking with about the Rumble. I had a bad feeling about this one. I had a bad feeling about the Rumble as a whole, particularly the women's Rumble. I just like the fact that Charlotte was the only name ever legitimately thrown out there as a winner was all you needed to know,
Yeah.
like about what kind of match this is going to be. And I've reached a point where like like Hell in a Cells fell into a formula. Money in the Banks fell into a formula. Elimination Chamber matches fall into a formula. And I get the Rumble, you can only do so much after 40 years, but it's like it's in such a rut with this formula now of what they want to do and need to do and feel like they have to do for spots and moments. Like the magic of the Rumble for me as a fan is like not there anymore.
But
It's
and,
sad.
and
It's sad, but like I watch it and like okay, like personally NXT Rumble surprises don't do a thing for me.
No.
Ever. They never did. Even when they first did it, and it was like Cole and Andrade. Like, yeah, okay, I like Cole, but like it's not the same as when like the legends would come back. And it's the same.
Because
That's all it did. It replaced the NXT people replaced the legend spots.
and you knew the NXT
Um,
people weren't sticking around where the legends, like, maybe they would have one more run, like Mr. Perfect had one more run.
yeah.
Like, you never knew what
And
would come out of that.
And listen, I mean, I'm just gonna say it. We're all thinking it. Def Rebel need to pay for their crimes. They need to be put in Guantanamo Bay because it is insane. Every year they continue to get away with this, where music hits and no one knows who the fuck they are. Like you have to wait until the Titantron pops up and shows their name, and
It
then you're
was
like, oh,
crazy.
so it's Finn Balor.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
crazy.
so it's like it's listen, man, it's really bad. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, and we all agree the theme music sucks for so many people, and it's got to be fixed because this is the one time of year when casual fans or casual people will really watch the Rumble.
Yep.
They don't watch anything else the whole year. They'll watch the Rumble and Mania, and they like, who the hell are these people? They don't even know. But as for the match itself, yeah, I did not like the women's match. Um, it didn't really pick up for me at all. Like, I mean, Bliss being there was cool. I'm glad Bliss is back. Hopefully, she is on SmackDown this week and like has a story
Hmm.
going on. And probably it's gonna be Wyatt Six crap, but whatever. I never expected AJ. I know, like it's
Yeah,
hopeful,
I never expected AJ either.
it's wishful thinking, but like after all this time, it ain't gonna happen.
Look cool.
Vicaire, yeah, Vicaire, yeah, was a standout. Yeah, yeah. Listen, I mean, it's nice to see her and like Julia and Roxanne are all in there, but like if they're in NXT, my mindset is keep them in NXT. Don't give them that Rumble moment yet. Like they
Yeah.
shouldn't.
So I
I
was
don't
gonna
like them
say
being in
two
there.
quick
But
things, which was I know the Rumble fell into a formula like you said, but like the Rumble Survivor Series, the magic of those is the formula. That's the point of those. Like the magic isn't, oh my god, like I wonder what crazy thing they're gonna do this year. It's who's gonna win the Rumble this year. Like they didn't care what crazy spot was gonna happen. They cared who the next big guy was. Like how was Austin gonna win? Austin never did crazy spots. Austin never did anything nuts, like except for
Mhm.
that 1 year with Vince McMahon. Like it was a matter of who was winning, and then they start getting into these spot fest problems, and that's why now the Rumble seems like run of the mill because they don't know how to do the spot fest. Forget about the spot fest. Concentrate on like a winner, which we'll get into in a second. Which
Yeah, and by all means, I'm not even talking about spots. And like
no, I
maybe
know you.
I'm
I know you're
just,
not.
what it is. Listen, maybe I am just a jaded fan, and it's one of those things where just nothing's really gonna break through to me anymore. I don't know in terms of the WWE, but like for example, like
Killer
when you
Shimano's
got to the
talking
final,
about the reverse battle royal in TNA, by the way.
yeah, like you said, that spot where they had like 5 or 6 people eliminated at once, sloppy as
That
hell.
was
Whoever
awful. That was
whoever
awful.
produced whoever produced that or planned that, like take them out back with Def Rebel and just end it. But it was sloppy. It was so bad, and they gave Nia credit for all of them, but like Bianca had half of them,
Yeah.
even though she fell out. But whatever. But like even at the end, then man, um, like when it came down to like Roxanne and Charlotte, that was for like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Like
and plus you
build
knew
that.
Roxanne wasn't winning.
But here's the thing, man. If you build that shit up, even if you don't give it to Roxanne, make the crowd believe you got an unknown, quote unquote, to the main roster and
Yeah.
Roxanne Perez in the final 2 with Charlotte. Give it a few minutes. Like everyone, because again, if everyone thinks Charlotte's gonna win it, let's mess with them and do it
All
and let
right.
the crowd be like, holy crap. But
So we're
no,
way over,
Charlotte
but I
won,
want to
and
get your last thought. I'm going to give you the last thought. Based on the Raw segment, and based on what you said Tuesday, where is Charlotte going?
and that promo was fucking stupid
It
too.
was
Like
awful.
I skipped most of it, but from what I heard online, she's playing a baby face. Like she's going out there cutting like
But it's
I
it's
was
a
injured for 2 years and I miss you people and da da da. I'm like, no, like stop it.
but it's a
You can't
weird
be a heel and come out there and do this baby face shit.
but
You
it's a
can't
weird
do it.
baby face because she's saying how much I miss you, but then she's saying I'm still like the standard, and that's why you all still boo me because I'm still a Flair and I'm still the most successful champion. Like she's still playing up that nepotism, nepo
It ain't gonna
baby heel
work.
role.
It ain't gonna work. Like you
It's
can't
weird.
do
I
that.
don't know how she's doing. I don't know why she's doing both. She's
It's
like, you can boo
so
me, but I
it's
loved you. You're gonna boo me because I was hurt. Blah blah blah. I don't know.
yeah, it's so tone deaf. Like you're a heel
Yeah,
until you strip down everything that you are in terms of the Flair gimmick. You're gonna be a heel and get booed.
yeah.
So just cut the baby face I hate it. I hated that shit.
All
But
right.
in terms of who I still think she goes after Stratton.
Okay. Let's see.
Until I see SmackDown, that's what I think.
Let's see. All right. I'm gonna let you
Ah,
start off on the men's because I took over the women's for a while. So you give me your first thoughts on the men's.
Men's Rumble was better.
Yes.
Um, it was definitely better. You had a lot going on there, but then like then the final three hit. But before we get to that, I noticed like not like I looked over the list afterwards, but uh, I can't like besides Styles coming back, there was no
No
like
surprises.
turns, debuts, surprises. I don't even think there was any NXT like people on the men's side.
Just the
Um,
stupid
like
Kai
then
Kai Sen.
you had Joe Hendry. Well, yeah, you had Joe Hendry and
Oh,
Speed.
Joe
I'm talking
Hendry.
like
Yeah, Joe Hendry was dope.
so like yeah. All right, Penta touched it in the first minute. Yeah, I saw that
That was
too.
so
Uh,
rough.
Braun Breaker should have speared that dude harder. Yeah, that spot was dope. Listen,
I don't know if
I'm
he
not gonna
could
even.
have, man. He speared him very hard,
At
like
least it should have, not could
sideways
have.
too. It was crazy.
Yeah. Great spot, but I'm not gonna give him any more of my breath on air.
All right. What about the Penta stuff?
Styles being back was awesome though with
Yes.
the music, his original music
I
and everything.
know it was so,
Um,
and we heard it. Like I heard it, and I was excited. I didn't need to see the name. I knew it was AJ Styles. That was pretty dope. That should
mhm,
have been Orton. I agree. That should have been Orton taking,
yeah,
replacing him or whatever. But then that would have made sense if Orton didn't come out for the ladder match. I don't know.
yeah. So
Um,
we'll see again, just like Bliss. I hope Styles has something for Mania season, not just to come back and flounder.
well, it looks like they're
But
starting him with Braun Breaker at the very least, just to start
yeah,
something off.
yeah. And then
Penta's feet touching. How bad did you think that was?
yeah, it was really bad, and they just ignored it. And of course, he was the Iron Man. And that's why they couldn't change
It
their
was
mind.
so
He
I
was in there
know.
for 45 minutes doing bad spots with everybody. So you
I
can't just be
know.
like, oh,
He
nope, you're
really
out.
was doing a lot of bad spots the whole night. I think he was nervous.
This is a Penta, man. Let's not
I don't
nervous
know,
that.
man. Like, what? Why do you? What's your whatever? All right, next one.
He's a luchador. And I'm not even joking. They're all floppy. So that's not
Well,
new
that's why
coming from
Gable's
me.
going to find the dark arts about Luchador and defeat them.
Yeah, he's probably legit going AAA, by the way.
That's dope. That's gonna be
Yeah.
fun. All right, so
Yeah, so the
final
final
three.
six, then the final three. Listen, man, I mean, everyone felt the same way when Roman and Rollins and Punk all got thrown out within like a hot minute. Like the whole crowd just deflated. Everybody was like, "Are you fucking kidding? Like what? Like all three gone at once? Like at
Yep,
this point?" Um,
it was so
that sucks.
early.
I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't
Not
early. At
not
that point, it's the
early,
final
but like
six, but yeah,
they should have been final four, final three.
not
Yeah.
not ideal. Yeah. So once you got down to the final three, you had Jey Uso, John Cena, and Logan Paul, which not ideal, not great. But honestly, at that point, I mean, yeah, everyone thought Cena, but I kind of started getting the feeling. I'm like, I think they're giving it to Jay. Because if you were gonna give it to Cena,
You would
you
have
probably
Logan
would
Paul
have
final two.
not even that. You probably would have left guys like Punk in there and Roman and like the bigger people to have Cena win. I don't think you would have done that. But either way, yeah, especially when it was final two, I definitely was like, oh my god, they're gonna go with Jay
Mm-hmm.
because you don't really want to do Cena taking out Uso, but you can do Uso taking out John.
Yep.
And listen, man, I'm about Jey Uso winning. I'm overall, I'm numb to it. Like, I don't hate it,
Okay.
and I don't like it at all.
Okay.
Um, and I mean that in the most sincere way. Like, you know what? Good for them on actually swerving a majority of their audience and giving
Yes.
us a surprise Rumble winner.
And
Um,
arguably building finally a next guy, like giving it to someone who's not already established main event all the time and already a champion, like give it to
well,
someone who
yeah,
hasn't won yet.
he's almost in his 40s, so not quite upstart, but yes, I get your point.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, they're finally giving it to young upstart Jey
Not an
Uso.
upstart in as far as age, upstart in as far as singles career though.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. But like, man, like Jey Uso, like,
So
listen, man, I get he's over. I get he's selling all the merch, and that's what counts now. But like, I look at it, and I'm just like, this is dire straits. This sucks. Like, overall, I don't like it, but like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I fucking hate it. This is bullshit. Like, I'm just because I'm so out of touch with really WWE at this point and disconnected from it that that's why I'm able not to care. Like, I'm just
Of
legit, just
course.
like, whatever. I'm numb. Like, it's
So
over. Fucking move
last
on.
last or not last night, Monday night kind of put in perspective like why they did it, because we say all the time the crowd legit loves him. I mean, every crowd is hot for him. They're all doing the dance. They're all going crazy. I don't know if you saw Monday night though. They literally called an encore. Like, music stopped. He was about to start his promo. He paused and they kept saying like one more time, and they restarted the music and went another like 30 seconds with it. Like, it's amazing how over he is. And then the other thing that I always forget about, and like I gotta remember when I was a kid and why, the young fan base loves this guy. Like, that's what you're trying to get. Also, you're trying to get that long term fan base. You're trying to get those kids young. If this is their guy, we're gonna get Cena. We're gonna get Punk. We're gonna get Roman. We're still gonna get the guys we want at Mania. Let like these kids have their dude be main event, even though we know it's not going to be the main event because it's not going to be night 2 main event. But like, I'm not upset with it in that perspective, because like, this is their Rock or this is their Jeff Hardy or whatever you want, whoever you want to compare it to from our childhood.
I'm so mad at what you just said.
that
I can't even think of a clever
that
reply.
pause was crazy. You really don't see that perspective though. That's a crazy perspective for you. The Rock is insane. I meant Jeff Hardy more. I didn't mean The Rock. All right. All right, we're gonna move on.
I'm so dumbfounded. I'm trying to be nice, and
I'm gonna move
like,
on. Harley
because
agrees. Harley agrees. She said, "Well
I'm not
said."
I'm not saying I agree or disagree. As I said before, I am so numb to this situation that the thought of what you said being out there in the ether, like thinking of like 60, 70-year olds like us watching, and then like the youths being like, I remember Yeet Mania, and like Jey Uso, and he comes out in a wheelchair, like going like this. Like I don't want to be in that world,
Yo,
Danny.
the
And
Hall of Fame, when Jey Uso's eating on the wheelchair at the Hall of Fame, bro, and everyone's going crazy. And Michael Cole, who's like in his deathbed, is still trying to yeet, and probably yeets the same exact way he does now, which is going to be terrible. All right, we got to move on. We're way over time for this segment. Moving on.
oh, brother,
Elimination Chamber
rough
qualifiers
stuff.
have started, which is really good news for you guys in Fantasyland, because that means they announce matches more often in advance,
Huzzah.
especially for the qualifiers. But last night, Monday night, we had 2 qualifiers, one for the women, one for the men's. We had the first one up was Liv Morgan versus Io Sky, which I thought was a pretty good match. The only problem, as we always see with this, is there was a lot of outside interference, and the outside interference cost Io Sky the match because Rhea Ripley and Raquel were fighting, and then Morgan got involved, and Rhea hit Morgan, causing the disqualification and giving Morgan the win. She went to go apologize to Io. They didn't fight, but Io obviously frustrated, walked off in frustration. I don't know if you saw it, but what do you think?
So I did see this match because
Nice.
as the owner, as the commissioner of the fantasy league, I have a responsibility to my audience
I
to
wasn't
score the
sure if
matches.
anyone chose him, you know?
Yeah, well, somebody had EO. Nope,
Nice.
nobody had Liv. So since somebody had EO, I did watch. But honestly, this is a match I would want to watch. I like both of these people.
Yeah,
I'm surprised Liv won. I don't mind it. I know a lot of people thought EO was going to win the whole thing and fight Rhea at Mania. So I'm curious if they do a second chance like qualifier for everyone in like a week or two. That all the people that lost get another chance.
hmm
Uh, I can still see EO getting in here and winning everything. But yeah, I like Morgan. I wish Morgan could have won legit because I thought the whole Liv and Rhea thing would have moved on, but who am I? But yeah, and I enjoyed the match. It was a nice little TV match, so it's good stuff.
Agreed. Nice. All right. I believe they announced another qualifier for next week. Hold on. Was it
It's Bailey versus Lyra.
That's what I thought it was, and I didn't want to be wrong, so I wanted to double check it. Good, nice. So yeah, so
This
that's
is
another
this, this is what
qualifier.
happens. This is what happens when I watch.
And SmackDown is going to start having some qualifiers as well, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be interesting with the Elimination Chamber season coming up. I believe John Cena already has his
Oh
match locked in, or his spot in
man,
the match locked in, but Punk and Sammy
I didn't
battled
even get
in
to
the
go
main
there.
event for the Elimination Chamber qualifier. I was surprised that these two were pinned up against each other. I loved that these two were pinned up against each other. I don't know
Oh,
if you saw
hey
the
yo,
promo beforehand.
hey yo.
Besides this, besides the Seth Rollins portion of it, which was a lot of it, which I didn't really care about. When him and Sammy though started having a little back and forth, and he started saying like, "Listen, people may not know, but like you hate Punk almost as much as I do, if not more." And Sammy's face was like, "Yeah, I know, blah blah blah." So like that's an interesting little wrinkle that they put in before the match to have Punk versus Sammy. Great main event, awesome match. I think the right person went over. I think that's what you had to do. Um, I I'm very curious where this KO Sammy thing also goes, because like if you're gonna have Sammy lose like this and keep getting frustrated, maybe it turns to a heel turn and not so much a one-on-one. But I don't know now. Like a couple possibilities out there.
First off, I'm gonna hijack the final segment of the show here. I have a few things I want to say that I didn't get a chance to say earlier. John Cena is a bitch for all of a sudden becoming a selfish prick and taking it upon himself to put himself into the elimination chamber. All of a sudden now he thinks he is God's gift and thinks it is best for business to win the championship. Where are you? Oh, that's right. You're in fucking Budapest filming a movie about like boats and cars or some bullshit.
Yeah, how many
Like
eyes
what?
is he gonna bring to the table?
Like, you know what? The bald spot is bad right now. Yeah, a lot of it's bad. But like, you know what? Like that whole thing is that's bullshit. Like you lose the rumble and all of a sudden you start crying and you're like, oh, ego trip. I gotta be in the chamber. I'm in it. Like, haha. Okay, don't even have to qualify. So piss off on that front. Um, Another thing I wanted to bring up really quick. I wrote down one note from the rumble that I wanted to bring up. At one point, Trish and Natalia were going at it in the women's rumble, and Michael Cole is like, "Oh, longtime rivals, Trish and Natalia going at it. What a moment!" And I'm like, "Hold the fuck up.
Never,
Those two never feuded,
never,
never fought each other. Like complete bullshit. Just because they're
never
old, they're
even the
both
same.
old.
I don't even think they were in the same era.
They
Like
didn't.
never
Because
crossover.
Trish left in '06 and Natalia started in '08.
Yep,
So like it doesn't line up.
so ridiculous.
Complete
I
bullshit. I
forgot
had to
about
call
that.
that
I
out.
remember.
My
Yeah, that was so
my
funny.
brain exploded when he pulled that out. Now onto the main event. I did like Punk and Sammy. Obviously, this is right in my wheelhouse for a match. I
Of
loved
course,
it.
yeah.
My only note is I wish it was longer. I'm
Ayo.
happy Punk. I'm happy Punk won, and I do not think Sammy's turning heel to join up with Owens. I think this is absolutely Owens versus Zayn one-on-one at the Mania, and yeah, I think it's going to be great television. And honestly, it's probably going to be the best match of the whole weekend. At Mania,
Yeah,
I think it's going to be the highlight of the whole weekend.
if they give them time.
Um, I would like to think they do.
Hey man,
Killer Tomato says, "Ha, dick joke." Yes, dick joke.
I made.
But
We made two.
yeah, I liked it. I liked what they did, and I'm excited for Owens and Sammy to continue.
Nice. All right. So
So, yeah,
that
I can say good things.
that wraps up our week in wrestling. There was some good, there was some bad, there was some
Lot of bad.
trying to make sense of the bad. We did our
Ugh.
best tonight. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please remember next week we have a special day on Monday. We want
Monday.
to watch Dynamite on Tuesday, and since they moved it, we are going to move our show for next week only. Monday we're going to do a variety ever. We're going to do a couple of different games. We're going to introduce 2 new games and do 1 old one. So I'm not going to let you guys know yet because I don't want to let Juice know yet. But join in on Monday, 8 o'clock for a game night. See y'all later. Have a great night, everybody.
No yeet.
No